So in the last episode, I got the engine out of my '88 Subaru RX, and things looked pretty bad. Clearly some significant overheating, as well as serious cracking in the head that could lead to compression loss. And then things got even worse.
Caution. Conden's hot.
First, I broke the turbo coolant banjo bolt and couldn't get the bits out for the life of me. And then I found this lifter sleeve had pulled out of the block a little bit. Now these are the things the machine shop can handle when I take the heads in, but then I got into the cam towers. This cam was super duper stuck. And when I looked at it, it was really scraped up. And the bearing itself was totally slagged. I'm starting to have serious doubts about this EA82. I just got off the phone with my man Scott. He's got a lead on a cheap 98 Legacy Outback. Probably got a 2.5 in it, and it would drop right in. It would mean scrapping this little power plant for now. Gosh. Legacy Outback. So all of my Subaru pals are telling me I gotta EJ swap the RX. That's what everybody does. And it's a swap that I've always been interested in. I mean, it's a cool 30 to 40 horsepower upgrade with added simplicity and longevity. This engine is dual overhead cam, so as far as simplicity, it's not exactly ideal, but still a pretty solid little powerhouse. It's a hell of a lot of miles on it. I think I got everything unhooked that I need to. I gotta give a big shout out to Scott with SJR Lifts. We're here at his shop. That's his crane truck. It's him helping me out. This whole project, I just couldn't have done it without Scott. This whole operation really only works with the ECU and harness and everything. You gotta know just which wires you can cut. Now that that's done, I've got one kind of last-ditch idea. So we're out here at Scott's place, and I'm looking for a replacement cam tower. Mine has seen better days. Pretty messed up, to be honest. The camshaft is also pretty messed up. This is unique to the turbocharged EA82. This piece here should not be unique to the turbo. I think this is going to be the same on all EA82 engines. I think there's one over there. We found exactly what we're looking for. That seal there looks pretty clean. Let's do it. There you go. Yeah. That's the piece that's gonna make my engine go. That's really exciting. I think that's the same. I think that's the exact same. Yes! So after all that, I never did use that EJ25. So we're going to clean up the cam tower using some of the same old tricks. Feeling really good about this cam tower. It looks to be exactly the same as the other one. Of course, the cams themselves are completely different. Can't use the NA cam in the turbo build. The problem is I got this bearing thing that's stuck on my turbo cam. And I threw just about every trick I had at it. Some heat, a fair amount of percussion. And I was getting pretty desperate. In fact, I was just about to give up when... Well, I made a boo-boo. I broke my camshaft, man. After I heated it up and banged on it on the vise, I brought it over here and I jammed some screwdrivers in there thinking that I could wedge this bearing off of here. There's your answer right there. I messed it up pretty good. I've spent some time thinking about the error of my ways, and I don't really have a solution. So I think I'm going to try and make this turbo cam work. So find a spot. The kind of nice thing about having broken that one part off is I can get my angle grinder in there now. Obviously, this has to be done with extreme precision. If I were to nick anywhere on that cam, I'd have serious oil leakage. Right through there. Oh! Oh!
It's still stuck on there. How is that possible? It's gotta get... Woo! Somehow, yeah, you can see it here in this. This is a groove that's cut into the side of the... Oh yeah. That was never gonna come out of there. Look how deep that channel is cut. Man, that feels really good. It's still a broken camshaft, but we're gonna try and run it. We're gonna try and run it just like this. We'll see what happens.
So this is where I could have started the video if things hadn't gone quite so weird. Basically, we're just chucking the valves in the drill press, protecting the stems with masking tape, using whatever sandpaper to knock the carbon deposits off. Being extra careful not to nick the stem itself, which could end up causing oil leakage into the ports, I think. We're using seat grinding paste and a tool. The goal is to mate the surface of the valve to the surface of the seat for the best compression. Rinsing off any seat grinding compound and installing the valve stem seals. That's why you don't want to nick those valve stems. Keep those seals clean and tight. Heads are looking nice. Machine shop did a great job. We've got our head gasket set here from 2015. I actually had it for a different car, but EA82T, basically the same engine. These head gaskets look like they will do nicely. Now in cleaning the head, I like to start with the razor scraper. Be careful, but you can get most of the easy stuff off. Scotch-Brite pad works really well. A sanding block if you're feeling spicy with WD-40. It's easy to overdo it here. The block doesn't have to be quite as flat as the head side. Really important to clean your head bolts so you get an accurate measurement on your torque wrench. I'm not actually going to include the torque sequence here or the torque specs themselves. There's actually a couple different opinions out there, but look it up, get it right, have it in front of you, and repeat. There are a couple rubber O-rings in the cam tower, this one on the camshaft and one where the faces meet. Put a little heavy grease on your rocker arms to keep them on top of the lifters as you're installing everything. RTV silicone, don't leave any gaps. Most of these bolts we're tightening to snug plus maybe a quarter turn. And just like that, our long block is built. Now for your oil pump, you're going to want to carefully set that Mickey Mouse seal. Lube it up a little bit. Don't torque it down too much. I really don't know if this copper stuff does all that much, but it sure looks cool. Same thing with the water pump. Don't torque it down too much. Really easy to strip out these steel bolts and aluminum block. I guess I must have already set the cam seals. Just use a big socket, whatever the right size is, to kind of tap them in. And the oil pan. Gotta get all that nasty gasket material off of there in order to get a good seal. Scraper works great for this because it's steel. You're not going to scratch it too badly. Might as well give it a good rinse, some mineral spirits. This is my brother's barn find stretched custom Honda Ruckus. Pretty badass. Later, buddy. So the timing kit is pretty straightforward. You got your pulleys and your tensioner springs. You're going to have your crank at top dead center with the compression on cylinder number 1. Your driver's side first. Cam pointed up at the valve cover. Rotate 360 degrees at the crank before you do the passenger side. Same thing, working the slack toward the tensioner. Just cleaning up some of the bits on top, hitting them with some rust neutralizer, a little bit of black paint. Cleaning up the intake, getting those mating surfaces nice and clean. You really don't want to over torque your oil pan gasket. Get it just right. My exhaust studs are stripped out, so we're going to retap to the next size up, which works out pretty well. Machine shop got that broken banjo out and got a new one in there. Everything's coming together. We're just about there. Intake has 2 gaskets and I think 6 bolts. Oil fill spout, a little bit of silicone. Turbo time. I can't even remember how long this thing was on the engine stand, but it was too long. Let's get this dang thing back in the car already, huh? So we're back inside the engine bay. We got to clean up some stuff, namely this big rust pile over here where the battery is supposed to sit. This project continues to test my skills, my patience, my emotional fortitude. I'm constantly having to learn new things and overcoming obstacles. I reaffirm my own experience and my ability. Every mistake I make leads to growth, and every success adds to my momentum. Just as long as I keep coming back to the shop and picking up the wrench. A lot of this stuff you see me do, I've never done before, and I'm really just working it out in front of the camera. I've been around, I've worked blue-collar trades, but this whole project is really about trying to learn new stuff and pick up new skills. Eventually maybe meet new people, new communities. In the meantime, I'm a heck of a lot better welder than I was when I started. What we're looking at here is just about the first body repair job I've ever done. Played with Bondo a bit, but not to this extent. Had to give myself a new tool in order to work in this really cramped space. All in all, I'm really happy with how it turned out. There's no turning back for me at this point. I can only go forward, take my chances, hope for the best. It won't be terribly hard to improve on what we started with. Here we are replacing the rear main seal. Catastrophic oil leakage, if it ever does fail. The clutch and the clutch pack, nothing super special here, just basic eBay stuff. Now, unfortunately, this is not the episode where we get the RX running. For now, we'll just have to be satisfied that we made it that much closer. The engine is where it belongs, in the car. In the next episode, we'll see if keeping the EA82 is really a good idea and what it's going to take to make it go. Big thanks to the community and everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time.